Should the Arizona Cardinals add on top of a stellar offseason by kicking the tires on veteran wide receiver Keenan Allen, Johnny Venerable?
Plus, why one report suggests the Arizona Cardinals may have found a day one starter in the NFL draft come day 3. How about that? PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, the premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Brack, co-host in Studio K. Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire. Behind the mic, we have entered the final days ahead of the schedule release. Next Wednesday, we'll cover it ad nauseum. Plenty of talking points today, but first, Brack, how we living?
Living well. Sleepy little day here in our valley in the sun, but not sleepy on this podcast. What's going on, Didi, Mr. Fat Gangster, AZ Bro 95, ZT, one of our newest diehards. Jess, what's going on? Love to see Jess in the chat. Tim, Big Red 6, Darren, Ozzy, Rudy, Fatch, E-Man, LFG, absolutely. Let's get going here today. A couple topics, of course, to cover, John. That's kind of weird. Johnny, and of course, the sweet little baby infant Damon Dawg taking his fresh off his first steps. And it's just it's a fun little day here.
Innocent newborn baby Damon, who is spreading his wings and flying via the Wildcats podcast. Subscribe to it now. Even if you're not a Wildcats fan. Highly entertaining stuff, as is this little fanboy podcast. What's up to everybody in the chat? I saw diehard Jess. She's got the final, looks like final, coming up here ahead of a graduation. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to all of our graduates here coming up in the world. And, you know, remember us when you all become big and famous and successful and adults, while we are just a couple kids here on a football Tuesday, May 6th. Arizona Cardinals, again, we have the schedule release coming up next Wednesday. We'll have rookie mini camp later this week. Here for some players as early as Thursday. Then, Bo, you'll be on the practice field on Friday. Our first glimpse at the likes of, I don't know, Walter Nolen, Will Johnson, among others. But we start today with a new report, article, suggestion. The free agent market, I'll be transparent, has been slow post-draft. Like, if you were a guy who were thinking, well, I'll have a job after the draft's been over for a hot minute, and no notable signings. Aaron Rodgers hasn't picked a team yet, hasn't signed a deal. Sante Samuel Jr., Kazir White, Will Hernandez, guys that we know, we talk about, they're still out of jobs. Well, there's another name that marquee headlines the receiver position that remains unsigned. And he just so happens to play a position where a lot of people think the Arizona Cardinals could use an upgrade. Damon, Dawg, let's see it. This is from NFL.com. Yeah, there it is. Keenan Allen is a logical fit for the Arizona Cardinals, Bo. Jeff Chiata, who does a nice job for the NFL Network, saying there are plenty of teams who need veteran help at wide receiver, but Allen fits in Arizona because they have to unlock the potential of Marvin Harrison Jr. Arizona has leaned on young players like Michael Wilson, Greg Dortch, to work with Harrison Jr. in 2024. That's not getting it done. No mention of Trey McBride in this first blurb. The 33-year-old Allen isn't the same player he was in his prime. He had 4 100-yard catch seasons in the previous 5 years before being traded to Chicago, but he still knows how to operate in the slot. He delivered solid production for the Bears, 70 catches, 744 yards, and can give Kyler Murray another dependable target to go along, Bo, with Trey McBride. There are those Keenan Allen rumors, Bo. How do you respond?
I mean, outside of the final line, like that's the last line in there is the only thing that's like, oh, okay, I can jive with that. I mean, as far as Keenan Allen being a dependable target for Kyler Murray, I mean, that makes all the sense in the world as a guy that can kind of operate the slot, knows all the ins and outs and the angles that you want to play, and sure-handed, right? And a guy that had a decent year for a bad football club and the Chicago Bears last season, going over 700 yards receiving. But all the mess before that, you can't sell me on that. Like you think Keenan Allen can just come in and he's going to be the guy that's going to unlock Marvin Harrison Jr. just like he was kind of that guiding light for Rome Odunze and how he lit his rookie season on fire. Like that's all nonsense. That's just word salad to kind of hit a character's like quota on your story. Like. The only thing you can sell me on is he's dependable. He had recent success and he plays a position or can run routes out of really the lone spot you could upgrade right now as far as this receiving core. But, to bring in Keenan Allen to say like he's going to be this mentor figure for a guy whose dad is in Canton, who's played, at the highest level in every step of the way. And like, if we're going to look at like the Cardinals not getting it done with Marvin Harrison Jr. last year, close to 900 yards receiving and tying a franchise record for receiving touchdowns in his first season with Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden, then I just think you're going to throw your back out reaching for this one.
I don't have an issue with people, and I'm with you, suggesting like, yeah, that could make some sense, but very similar to how we operated during draft season. You and I come from a place of like, we have our own opinions, and then we try more often than not to put ourselves in position to think like this franchise, follow the tea leaves and the patterns. It's why we never bought into a guard in the first round or an off-ball linebacker. We felt like we had a pretty good handle on the players that they wanted to select, and I think that's aged pretty well. I wanted everybody everybody can participate in this little exercise here. This is Monti Ossenfort's third offseason. How many, and he's had plenty of money to spend, and a lot of people think they've had a need at this position. How many veteran wide receivers of note has Monti Ossenfort signed in 3 off seasons?
I mean, of note? I mean,
you can every offseason, there's 3 to 7 guys that people are like, he could come in and be a starter for you.
Right.
Really, like Zay Jones is, I like him a lot. He was super nice to us, super good to us last year. I think he's going to do fine this year. But Zay Jones does not count. Yeah, Tim's got the answer. Big Crack in the back's got the answer. Big Zero. They were led in 2023 by Michael Wilson, right? They got rid of they told DeAndre Hopkins to leave. They cut him. Hollywood Brown couldn't stay healthy. And then last year, it was all about, we're just going to roll with Marvin Harrison Jr. They literally could have done this last year. They could have said, we're going to get a veteran to go with Marvin. Said, nope, Marvin's our guy. It's like, I'm not surprised. This is how they operate.
Right.
You gotta follow the tea leaves when this franchise has a pattern and does things. I don't expect them to sign a veteran receiver. It would be the first time that they go out and get a guy with a resume and expectations. Because if Keenan Allen comes to the Arizona Cardinals, Greg Dortch and Zay Jones are immediately pushed down the depth chart.
Right.
Greg Dortch and Zay Jones play special teams. It's completely different. So I mean, until they break a trend, which is what Fran Duffy said, it's a trend until it's broken. This is it. This is the receiving core. I know it makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but this is who they are.
It was even a surprise to me when they signed Zay Jones initially, and then also doubled down on him and bring him back this offseason because of where you kind of see the organization and how heavily it emphasizes getting younger players reps and developing them. And, Ozzy put it great. Like, even thinks like Michael Wilson needs to see an uptick in targets.
Yeah.
I think what Keenan Allen would bring is that dependability that we were talking about that I think he's had throughout his career. But he also creates another mouth to feed as far as this offense goes and kind of throws a little bit of a wrench into the continuity that they're trying to lean into so heavily in creating that chemistry this offseason. So, it does. It would be a very zig instead of zagging as far as how they've operated before. And also, like, if you've talked to anybody who follows this team in our chat is the most well-versed in it and watched the games last year, what is this receiving core really kind of lack? And it's a speed aspect, especially in the middle of the field. Keenan Allen has never been fleet of foot, even back to his Cal days. He's been known as kind of a possession guy. He doesn't give you the ability to kind of take somebody off, take the top off the defense, or even burn somebody, like free himself up over the middle. I mean, he's just going to do it really kind of playing the angles, playing the geometry out there, and then also just kind of pulling down every target that's mostly thrown his way. He's fine. I just don't. The team isn't in the business of getting like just incrementally better at a position. Like they would much rather somebody that they're familiar with go out there and show that they can take the next step.
Well, we talk about this every other show, is like I just don't think they value a receiver like other teams. Like this franchise did under Cliff Kingsbury, who didn't see a receiver selection or free agent receiver that they didn't like. AJ Green, there was a receiving core that this team tried it out. It was AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins, Rondale Moore, Hollywood Brown with Greg Dortch. Dortch outperformed a lot of those guys like that. Yeah,
Greg Dortch.
They don't want to operate that way. They don't want to build a team that way. I mean, like Marvin Harrison Jr., we've talked about this ad nauseum, was an outlier pick for them, right? And people can be snarky and say it was the wrong pick. I think Marv is going to have something to say about that this year. Mm-hmm. But like they would have preferred to, if they had something stable at the X receiver, they would have taken Joe Alt. They would have traded down. They would have if it was, a year where like a Quinnen Williams or a pass rusher of note, an Abdul Carter, like that. Those are the kind of players they want to target early. Not Matthew Golden, respectfully, in the middle of the first round. I mean, this is just laughable. But again, I think the bigger question now becomes like, could Keenan Allen help the Arizona Cardinals? Like, is Keenan Allen better than what they have? I think on the surface level, most people would say yes. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't hate the experience, and I would think to myself, well, this team, short yardage was a little bit of an issue last year. On top of the big plays, the explosives, yeah, I think he could help absolutely with that. But I also feel like every year we're talking about, like, could Greg Dortch see an uptick in targets? Yeah, I think he could. They don't sign Zay Jones unless they convince him, like, you're going to have a bigger role. And Zay was productive toward the end of last year when Michael had to sit out a game or two. I cannot, I'm going to sound like a broken record, I just can't buy into flushing the receiver position with resources, whether it's free agency or the draft, until I see Drew Petzing evolve as a play caller. Like the offense is backs and tight ends. And there's a separate conversation we have, is like, is that loser mentality? Is that a losing mentality for this team? We're going to find out this year. Like, if we're sitting here and the offense is middling again and it's average and they dominate the statistics based on, most usage by 3 tight ends, then we're going to be this isn't working. You should have gone and signed a receiver. You should have evolved. But hopefully that's not the case. And hopefully we're sitting here and Marv's got 1,300 yards and Michael Wilson's very productive and Trey's being Trey. But there are too many, I don't know what a good analogy is, but it's like, it's like buying a vintage sweatshirt to cover up the fact that maybe you're not in the best of shape. Maybe get in good shape before you go out, you get Keenan Allen off the rack, right? Maybe get to the root problem of your issue, which is this offense needs to learn how to be receiver friendly before they start flushing receivers into the infrastructure.
Well, I mean, to use your off on the fly interesting analogy, I don't know if you've gone and like recently shopped at some vintage shops for yourself. Okay. I don't know if that's just coming from
I only shop and go
from your own experience, but yeah, I mean, it's Keenan Allen. Like, the point of that is not going to be the cure-all. He's not going to unlock what this offense was short on last season. It just adds somebody like, hey, on second and long, third and long, you got somebody that's dependable out there. Like, the thing about Keenan Allen that's different than a lot of the conversations we have is there isn't a whole lot on his resume that disqualifies him from being an Arizona Cardinal. I mean, as far as his past production, as far as the route trees he can run versus the person, the player, I think Keenan Allen, like all that, you can make a case for it. But the number one thing that the team is going to want to lean into and is showing you by their actions or lack thereof on offense is they want that continuity. They want their idea of how this offense goes to the next level is like, we don't need somebody to come in and have help Marvin Harrison get to where he wants to go. We want him to go. He's going to do that. And with boosted production from Marvin Harrison Jr. and Michael Wilson and the status quo from Trey McBride, this offense is going to be right where they want it to be. So why would you throw it, somebody else in there? Like we've seen Greg Dortch put the ball in his hands, and he's a guy that can make plays in space. You just need to create those opportunities. That's on the play caller's shoulders, I think. And it was far too long through the 2024 season that Greg Dortch wasn't utilized correctly. And I think you can say that about a lot of the playmakers. And I also think like bringing in a Keenan Allen would also really hinder their ability to take a guy that they almost redshirted last year and kept on their active roster with intent in Xavier Weaver to see what they've got. Yep. And that kind of just flush that completely down the toilet if they bring in a guy like Keenan Allen that would prevent Xavier Weaver from taking the next step. Like, to your point about your vintage T-shirt, it's only going to hide so much of your flaws.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. As soon as it starts raining and you start to see the moobs appear, and it's just as what we all thought it was. Yeah. Even in drier weather, like it's only going to hide so much of it. It's just a facade, right? So yeah, I mean, Keenan Allen just doesn't think I just don't feel like the juice is worth the squeeze here for Keenan Allen.
I think you're much more likely, like if you and I were to put the odds on a veteran coming in to help and compete in camp, I think we're looking at guard, and I think we're looking at maybe still veteran corner, but like a Dalton Reisner, who Benjamin Albright floated on our show. He's 29. He remains unsigned. Like if you told me, hey, the Cardinals are going to sign Dalton Reisner, or bring back, I don't think they're going to bring back Will Hernandez, but somebody like, hey, let's get a body at interior offensive line to come in and just like Shaq Mason, Tristan Colon is I think still unsigned. Like that would make sense to me, because guess what? It doubles and triples down on what the Cardinals, their identity is. Mm-hmm. They want to be able to protect their quarterback and now get after opposing quarterbacks. They're out here. They already have like 20 tight ends. They're out here signing tight ends yesterday. Like at some point, like they're by hook or by crook. I don't want to say going down with the ship. The Cardinals and Drew Petzing and Nick Rawls and Jonathan Gannon and Monti Ossenfort are not changing who they are this year. Yeah. I think they're leaning into it even more so in certain aspects. I think they're going to be better equipped to do things we've never seen them do, which specifically on the defensive side, on the front seven. Offensively, I know like they are banking on unequivocally a jump from Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. And I'm sure they think to themselves, if we couple that with an improved defense that jumps up 5 to 7 spots, we're a playoff team. We're a definitive playoff team. Like the math's math in there. You can get me around that. Like, hey, give Kyler Murray and Marv another offseason and then subsequently 20 more possessions because we're taking the ball away and we're giving them short fields. And Kyler goes from, 21 passing touchdowns last year to 27, 28. Mm-hmm. Suddenly that 8 wins can become 11 to 12 really fast. So to me, Keenan Allen, could he help this team? Sure. He's a great guy. Yeah. He's a Hall of very good player. And I actually thought he was more productive than I thought when I dug into the numbers with Chicago last year. But that team was atrocious. The Chicago Bears last year were I don't even think you can take anything away with respect to him. They were losing every game. They were playing from behind. I would argue probably a lot of his yardage was garbage time yardage. Whereas like part of the problem with the Cardinals is like when they get a lead, guess what? They're running the football. They're running the football for 3 quarters if they want to.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing, especially at this time of year, is people look at the remaining free agents and it's like, we're brand name shopping. Like we're going to, whatever is a brand name, I want that, because other than that, like there's no sense in it. And it's not like necessarily the Cardinals and Monti Ossenfort are like, well, you can't have Keenan Allen. We have Keenan Allen at home. He's like, we've got Dr. Thunder instead of Dr. Pepper. It's like, no, it's a whole different thing. It's you're not drinking soda. We're going to do something better for you here. You're going to drink water, and you're also going to load up on protein, and you're gonna live a
little bit of ginger and turmeric.
There you go. It's not even the same stratosphere as sodas are. So yeah, I mean that's what the Arizona Cardinals are, because they understand that if they take their lumps a little early, and they certainly did last year with 23 points per game when you thought there was a lot higher ceiling with this offense, they took those lumps, they ate their vegetables, and they feel like, and they work things out that with just the development that they should be trending at a much higher level than the previous season, just with the personnel that they trust.
Also, like to your point, like Xavier Weaver, they kept on the roster all last year. Like, are they just gonna be like, actually, you know what, kid, who's in his early 20s compared to a 33-year-old man? Hey, we're gonna lean into slower and older at this position. It's like I feel like they are clearly very confident in who they are and what they want to do, and I applaud them because there were times in, let's just use 2019, 2020, when we were like, we want to win games. We want this team to, we've been through the slums of 2018 and the first overall pick. And it's like Byron Murphy and Zach Allen should have been starters from day one. I think Byron started because of injuries at corner, but get these guys in there, get them experience, and then they will blossom and become great players here. And what they do, they went out and they signed veterans. They blocked good players. They didn't develop. They didn't know how to develop the prior regime with Keim and Cliff. And they used free agent Band-Aids to build their team. Very similar, as we talked about, to what the Chicago Bears have done. That's not sustainable. What's sustainable, and I think we have never experienced this firsthand as Cardinal fans, so it's hard, right? We're at a very unique, hopefully advantageous spot where it's like, hey, Michael Wilson could have a pop year this year, and then he's going to spend his peak years with the Cardinals, just like Trey is, right? Hopefully Kyler, turns the corner. Paris Johnson's going to get a second contract. When you hit on young players, guess what it enables you to do? Have sustained success. I mean, Keenan Allen, if an injury were to happen, you pick up the phone, you figure it out. But do the Cardinals sit here on May 6th and feel a sense of urgency to add Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper or Odell Beckham Jr., any of these guys? Absolutely not. They first of all, they are very careful with who they bring into their locker room. They have a continuity now where Kyler Murray talking to us, and we've heard from other people about another road trip this summer with just the same group of guys from it's going to be the exact same group of guys. Yeah. And the Cardinals are banking on that. And again, Kyler Murray is going to reward them or not this year, but they are going down with the ship with their people, and you got to respect them for that.
And also, you bring in the Kyler Murray factor in all this. You mentioned his passing touchdowns, 21. You start to and what these analysts, these pundits are trying to say is you need to bring in Keenan Allen to supplement production. Right. But if you get the development and you say, well, Marvin Harrison Jr. going from nearly a 900-yard receiver to, let's just conservatively say 1,100, and Michael Wilson goes from 500 to, I know Kyler said he thinks he's a 1,000-yard receiver, but let's just say 700. Yeah. And Trey McBride somewhere around where he was, and you get a little uptick from Greg Dortch, and Kyler Murray's running the football a little bit more. Like this, I mean, now we're talking like this is an elite offense because it's like you're saying that, but it needs to show itself at some point. Like Kyler Murray, if you add all those yardage to a guy that had nearly 3,900 last year, I mean, that's a guy that's well over into 4,000 yards passing.
Well, Trey McBride's not having 2 receiving touchdowns this year, too. Right. Like that's not happening. Like Trey McBride, there's a better chance he has 12 than 2 again.
Right. By the way, his over-under is at 4.5. Oh. I am going to put the mortgage on it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, everybody should do the same right now. Just hammer that number. Take out every dime you have.
3 total touchdowns if you count that fumble recovery. Yeah. And it was like a disaster NFL record-breaking.
Is it just total touchdowns?
I think it's receiving touchdowns.
I mean, still, give it to me. Just because he had 2 in back-to-back games to end the season.
And should have had another against the Rams.
No.
He might have 5 against the Jaguars alone.
I think you're going to see a huge uptick as far as Trey McBride red zone versus just a healthy dose of Trey McBride. I still think like he missed the game and had 1,100 yards last season receiving. Like he could have easily been 1,200 yards receiver. So I still think he's 1,000-yard tight end.
The guys who are in the building are the guys that are going to decide right now whether or not this team is going where they want to go. Like they made a conscious effort. And again, that's the beauty of the NFL. You and I and Damon and everybody in the chat will be able to assess in January 2026. Hopefully we're still rocking and rolling here. That I'm going to tell you right now, was it the right decision to double down on this? We will have an unequivocal yes or no response. Save for Jacoby Brissett and a guard in the 6th round. It's team run it back for the Arizona Cardinals on offense. And they didn't even hesitate. They didn't bring in anybody offensively. They didn't take one offensive player of note in the draft. They're like, nope, we're good. Nope, we're better than that. Nope, that's not going to help us. And you can do that when you're not trotting out 33-year-old wide receivers. Like, why did the Bears have to draft Luther Burden? You could argue they wanted to, obviously, but it's because they traded for Keenan Allen last year, and he's already off the team, right? And there's been talk that DJ Moore could be on the way out. It's like Cardinals like continuity. How many years? I mean, like, listen, I don't want to get off on
the Bears
a
are such a dumpster fire. Why aren't all these playmakers working? He's like, you can't protect. You can't protect at all. And your quarterback takes way too many sacks. It's a bad combination. You're like, why is DJ Moore suck this year now?
The NFL used to be, we very much evolved into, and I love TikTok, right? I'm a TikTok boy. TikTok generation of instant gratification, instant results. Remember the day, like I remember Devontae Adams was drafted in like 2014. He was a 2nd round pick. And people were like, he is a bum. He drops everything. He had a horrendous rookie year. Dropped a bunch of passes. His first 2 years in the league, he had under 500 yards. And then he had 900 and then 800 and then 1,300, right? And people are like, I don't know about Marv. I don't know about Michael Wilson. It's like, guys, what? This league is about repetition, timing, experience, continuity. The Cardinals are banking on being rewarded with the patience that they've shown Drew Petzing, Kyler Murray, and these playmakers. And I have seen receiving cores be built in one offseason to disastrous results. A Hollywood Brown disastrous trade, right? DeAndre Hopkins, I love D-Hop. The year after that trade, it did not age well, right? Rondell Moore, disaster class. So many poor decisions from this team. Like, a little continuity, a little less noise isn't a bad thing for a franchise who's literally never tried that before.
It's really well put. It's really well put. And you'll see, I was talking to somebody today about just kind of trying to forecast this offense, and like the pressure on Kyler, the pressure on Marvin Harrison Jr. and the things that we said that can kind of get this offense going and increased opportunities in offensive series. Is if the Cardinals have the status quo of 2024 to 2025 offensive production, it's going to look worse. If they score 23 points per game, but their possessions are up, that means they're less efficient as far as going down and scoring points. It's going to look way worse. That means the errors offensively were up and that they just weren't finding pay dirt enough. Like it's going to look way worse because the defense is going to create way more opportunities. There's not going to be anywhere to hide. If they're able to just kind of like be a little bit better than last year, you're just going to see overall the numbers prove that. Like they're going to go from like 23 to 25 points per game, 26 points per game. And that should be enough with a good defense.
They have to score more touchdowns. Like that's just the end of the day. Like I love our sweet baby kicker who's ready to take over this year. And he was unbelievable. He was unbelievable last year. I don't want to see his face for a while. I don't want to see his mug unless it's a PAT. We're going to talk about more young players for the Arizona Cardinals. Why one article suggests that a 4th rounder out of Ohio State, ever heard of it, could be poised to make some noise come training camp. It's PHNX Cardinals. So fired up here on a football Tuesday in sunny May here in the desert. But again, I know the weather's turning a little bit. People are getting out. They're doing vacations. They're sitting by the pool. And I'm like, do yourself a favor. Pick yourself up a premium pair of Shady Rays sunglasses for not a premium price. You guys, like I've had this same pair for about 18 months now, right? I had another pair. It got swept away from me when I was in Hawaii with my beautiful wife. And it's like, I got to go get another pair. It doesn't break the bank, right? That's on me, right? Under $40 right now with the bonus code PHNX for 35% off. And again, that's for this pair. You could find a pair under $25, under $20, right? And you might be thinking to yourself, what's the review like, Johnny? How about 5 stars rated by over 300,000 people? Durable frames, crystal clear optics. I remember I had, Bo, what were supposed to be premium sunglasses by, let's just call them a big name brand. and the lenses started chipping away. I've had these for, as I mentioned, 18 months. You see any chips on these bad boys, right? I work out in these. Shameless plug. I walk in these. I use them in the pool. I'm going to tell you right now.
In sunglasses?
It's a little jog. Okay, I'm trying to protect myself. You should too. Try them right now. I'm going to tell you right now. If you have not tried Shady Rays, do yourself a favor. They've got the worry-free within 30 days free return, no questions asked. Because you never know. You order them online, like, oh, I think this will vibe with my face. Maybe not. You want to pivot, they'll take care of you. Again, exclusive for our listeners, Shady Rays, giving out the best deals of the season. Head to shadyrays.com. Again, bonus code PHNX for 35% off. Try for yourself, Bo and Damon. The Shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Johnny, I work out in my Shady Rays too. I don't know what Bo's problem is. Tarps off, Shady Rays on, running in the hot Scottsdale sun. That's how I do it.
That's you're a gem of a man.
Who are you, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sly Stallone out there, movie star working out?
Just giving the people what they want.
Look, I have sensitive eyes.
Cooler in Shady Rays is if you're under the shade of our All Pro Concept shades, of course. All Pro Shade Concepts going on right now. Been going on for 20 years. 623-204-1476. 204-1476, allproshadeconcepts.com. Extend your outdoor living space with custom fit awning. 100% of the designs and colors to choose from match any home. And they work with your HOA. That's always kind of a little thing that you kind of overlook. Not all pro Shade Concepts. They lock it in so you can get the best look for your backyard or wherever you may be putting up custom fit awning. Most trusted shade company, voted #1 by ranking Arizona and patio shades in 2024. BBB A+ rated and 1,000 5-star reviews on Google. Check them out. Licensed, bonded, insured. Call them 623-204-1476 and visit allproshadeconcepts.com. Schedule your free in-home estimate.
We got a big announcement we've made back in the NFL draft. I want to speak on it here. We have partnered with Big Brothers, Big Sisters here, not only PHNX, but ALLCITY, an exciting 3-year partnership. Together, it's about community. It's not just about sports, friends. We're combining Big Brother, Big Sisters, incredible youth mentorship program with the passion and the power of ALLCITY's local sports coverage to create something hopefully like super meaningful, truly meaningful. And again, our partnership kicked off via the NFL draft, and it goes for the next 3 years. You want to get involved, you want to make a difference, but don't know how. Find out more, bbbs.org/allcity. That's bbbs.org/allcity. Big Brother, Big Sisters of America, helping so many bigs and littles across this great country of ours. A national partnership, again, with local impact. We had a chance to chat with Calvin Beachum a couple of years ago at the Super Bowl and how instrumental it has been in his life. So yeah, try it now. Become a big. You won't regret it. Bo Brack.
Even if maybe you're not interested or you don't have the time to become a big, you can find out how to donate to an unbelievable cause. BBBSAZ for your local Big Brothers, Big Sisters, of course, of Central Arizona. They've got all the info there, but you're going to hear a lot about them for the next 3 years. Excited to be partnered with them. Johnny, of course, he's got his talking about working out sunglasses. Like who's the guy who went viral for his morning routine? His workout routine? Ashton
something.
Ashton Hall.
I think so.
Yeah, that's Johnny working out in the shades. He's probably dunking his face in some.
Johnny played running back too.
Oh yeah.
We're basically the same person. No, me doing some light jogging in my Shady Rays is not comparable, but what Shady Rays does is they give me a buffer to like look cool while I'm laboring while exercising here. So
yeah, or they hide the pain.
That's true. So true. We're not hiding any pain as with regard to this draft class from 2 weeks ago, because we'll keep talking about it because more people keep complimenting the Arizona Cardinals. Even I saw Colin Cowherd, who is pro-Kime, anti-Cardinals historically, did his post-draft power rankings, playoff rankings. He had the Cardinals finishing 3rd in the NFC West, only ahead of San Francisco. But he said the Cardinals would win 10 or 11 games. But then he didn't pick them to make the playoffs. He didn't have them in their playoff standings. So he's like, Cardinals are going to win 10, 11 games, but not make the playoffs? Okay. I mean, they Seahawks won 10 games last year and didn't make the playoffs. The Cardinals, I don't know. When was the last time a team that won 11 games didn't make the playoffs? I can't even remember it.
Probably the Patriots back when
Oh, yeah.
Brady was out. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the last one I can remember. I mean, the
And
Cardinals won 10
since
games in 2013, didn't make it, but
not
11?
since 7 seeds though. That's
Yeah.
been instituted. People are really impressed with this offseason, this draft class. And again, it's caught more people's attention, specifically later in the draft. Chad Reuter, NFL.com, named his top, I think it was his top 10 players or top 9 players that could compete for starting snaps as rookies. It was actually 16. Ranked 3rd overall on that list. How about this? Cody Simon. Here's what Chad had to say about Cody Simon. Round 4, pick 115, because your White's contract ran out. He remains unsigned, creating an opening in the Cardinals linebacking corp. Simon can drop into coverage effectively, and he looks like he shot out of a cannon when blitzing the A-gap or coming off the edge. Chad saying, I suspect he'll be a factor on special teams and should be lining up with the ones at some point in the season, if not Bo, for the opener. I agree. I know you're in a different camp and they want to give the veteran the benefit of the doubt. I will make a prediction right now. I think he starts week 1. I think with the amount of veterans that they have added to their front 4 and the fact that their safety room is veteran led and, outside of Will Johnson, I'll go on a limb. And I think Cody Simon impresses enough, Taylor Demerson style. But the difference is there's no Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson ahead of Cody Simon at off-ball linebacker. Every game he played at Ohio State, they said en route to the national championship, he looked better and better. He's a player ascending. This is not a player that is, beat up like Calais Campbell. This is not a player that maxed out his athletic ability. Most people, when you assess the tape, his best football is yet to come. So what do you think about the prospects of him starting week 1 for this team?
Well, I mean, I love your idea of it. It's not something I want to be a wet blanket for. I mean, I'm all for a guy going from 4th round pick to being a starting linebacker, wearing the green dot potentially, and just never relinquishing it. But it's one of those positions. It's not like safety. It's not like corner. It's not like edge where you can just work into a rotation. I mean, this is a position I think that Cody Simon projects to play that you need to be on the field for the bulk of the game. Like, this is one of the few positions where Jonathan Gannon, Nick Rollis, like these are guys that, because your White played, if he didn't play 100% of the snaps, he played close to it because he's the one that's barking in the defense from Nick Rollis. I mean, I love to see it. I mean, I absolutely would, because I think that the skill set translates to the defense, the scheme. I think that obviously he's got the skill, like the versatility you want. I think the pass rush upside is there. I think the coverage is there. I think he was trending at the right time. Like, his best ball was in the college football playoff all the way to the final game where he was the defensive MVP for the Buckeyes. It's just, is he going to get the opportunity? Because I don't think it's going to be like a work share. Like, this is my main concern about it. I don't think it's going to be like Cody Simon and Akeem Davis-Gaither, and they're going to split, 60-40, 50-50, whatever. It's going to be either or with that position. And they gave Akeem Davis-Gaither not a huge contract, but they gave him something that is not
2 years, $11 million.
It's not special teamer money. So where does he fit in? But it's also not enough to where you say you disqualify Cody Simon for this job. And they never went into it like, hey, we're going to go get and draft an off-ball linebacker. I think the opportunity presented itself and now maybe creates competition that, they weren't dead set on creating.
Akeem Davis-Gaither has a cap hit this year of $3.8 million. I mean, it's not special team money, but DJ Dallas is making $3 million. I mean, and he's, right. I get it. He's a Pro Bowl returner and by all accounts was fine last year, but I don't know, man. Zay Jones making $2.2 million. I think you signed, I agree with you on the surface level. You signed Akeem Davis-Gaither to potentially be in the mix for a starting job and have your next TJ Edwards, Kazir White, right? But that's up to Akeem Davis-Gaither. We have seen Desmond Ridder and veterans that they brought in where we have anointed them, and they have not had good training camps. And they who's the wide receiver they added last offseason where it was like, well, this guy's making the team and he's a special teams ace. And remember that vertical receiver they signed? I want to say Chris Jones.
Chris Moore.
Chris Moore. He got cut. He signed a nice deal, and he was a special teams ace. Couldn't make the roster. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen, because I think Akeem Davis-Gaither would have to have a disastrous training camp and preseason and not even make the team. But to suggest a kid who was the starting linebacker on the team that won the national championship on the #1 defense in college football, that, by the way, that university is beloved by the Arizona Cardinals brass now, thank God. And he wore the green dot. He called the defense. He was the MVP. To suggest like, and I know you're not doing this, but to suggest like, oh, this guy doesn't have a shot. It's like, no. If anything, this team has shown you, if you go out and earn it in training camp, this is not Trey McBride inactive for his first game under Cliff and Kime. This is a very different regime, and I'm thankful for it. So I think if you ask me right now, I would say it's a coin flip. I honestly believe that, because you'll get your first look at him on Friday. If this kid's locked in for training camp, even if you feel like he's got some room to make up in terms of experience, well, how do you get experience in this league? You got to effing play. You can't sit on the sideline. So Cody Simon in September versus where he's at November will be a very different player.
You hope so. And I agree with you. I mean, I think that there's going to be, it's probably going to be the best competition going into training camp.
Exciting
to fight for that job. But it's going to come down to, and does Simon have the ability with kind of a larger gap, just because he doesn't have the experience that Akeem Davis-Gaither has, just coming from the collegiate level, getting to the pro level. But if it's something that he kind of just takes to, I think Simon has every bit of a chance to get in there and just kind of take it and be their guy for the next couple of years. I mean, like, this is a position that, and Simon is a much well-regarded prospect than TJ Edwards was coming out of Wisconsin. And he was the one that kind of, that did this for Jonathan Gannon's big-time Super Bowl defense with the Philadelphia Eagles, and parlayed that into a big-time contract. We see Owen Papo, like, Cody Simon, despite just being a round away from when Owen Papo was drafted in the 5th round and Simon was drafted in the 4th round, is a much more polished prospect for playing the position. Like, I think Papo still has a ways to go as far as just understanding the game. The athletic traits are there, but I think Cody Simon is more of a complete package that gives you more of a plug and play potential there. That absolutely could beat out a guy like Akeem Davis-Gaither. And like, if you have to eat it as far as like the contract, and Akeem Davis-Gaither becomes, primary special teams and then like a glorified Chris Barnes role, that ain't that big of a chunk of change to have to take. And it would be a really good problem to have, that you had a 4th round pick just kind of take the reins there on a starting position.
Well, and you said it, like, Chris Barnes had a role, right? He wasn't the starter, but he had to play. I mean, like we saw last year, Mack Wilson Sr. had a concussion, missed at least one game. Cody Simon was a top 10 player at his position coming out of high school. That's how he ended up at Ohio State. He was a team captain. Obviously, it says he had the highest of character, first team all Big Ten. I mean, here's what I'll say, what hurts Akeem Davis-Gaither. And he signed, we're all like, who is that? We have to go read up on him. And again, the Cardinals have done that with Yelda Froldhold, and look how it turned out. So I'm not casting him aside by any stretch of the imagination. But we talk about like buying a stock. It's like, which of these players is ascending? Which of these players, like even NFL.com, their write-up is like, yeah, he's eventually going to start, right? Yeah. Like in their pre-draft write-up, right? Akeem Davis-Gaither has been a part of some of the worst defenses in the NFL. So much so that Lou Anarumo got his ass fired by the Bengals. Yeah. And he has never been a consistent player on those atrocious Bengal defenses. Now, again, not putting it on him, Gannon and Ross could say, we love his skill set. We can find him a role here. They did it with Mack Wilson Sr. So again, I'm sure the plan is when they signed him, like, come in and he's going to compete. But I do find it interesting. One of the biggest reasons, this is some inside baseball for everybody, is we were like, Bo couldn't make it to the owner meetings this year in Florida. Mm-hmm. And you could tell when Bo wasn't there, we didn't really have a presence to get information from Jonathan Gannon. And one of the questions that I would have liked to have seen asked by the people who were in attendance, did you sign Akeem Davis-Gaither to start for you? Right? Remember, we were pissed off because they were just coming out of free agency and all the attention was on Sweat, rightfully so, Dalvin Tomlinson. But like, Akeem Davis-Gaither was signed before Dalvin Tomlinson. Was that calculated, or is this a special teamer, or how do you foresee it? I'm sure now in hindsight that they were able to snag this kid at the top of the 4th round. I'm sure they're going to be like, this is an open competition because that's how they roll. So the window to anoint Akeem Davis Gaither as a starter, I think expired the NFL draft. And also you have to keep in mind, and as much as it pains me to say this, because they would never have done this at 16, they did bring in a linebacker for a top 30 visit in Jihad Campbell. So they were never fully married to the idea of, oh yeah, this guy, he's the guy for it. He's the guy. Right. No, he's a guy. He's an option.
He's a guy that's never played 50% of the defensive snaps his entire career. Last year he maxed out at 47%. And that was, just an absolute atrocious defense under your boy Lou Amadillo.
Horrendous.
Never.
No, those are dark days on this podcast.
Right, they were very dark. I mean, he played 534 snaps. That's a career high. It doubled, his previous high. So it's not saying like, hey, he's got to go. We got Cody Simon's got to go out there and outplay because you're white. This isn't the case. He can go out there and he can, and there's one thing I really think it's going to come down to, Johnny. Like, you can look at a lot of the things between Akeem Davis Gaither and Cody Simon and playing teams and, their ability. They're both guys that possess a skill set to get after the passer. Like you saw really good ability. Like they even call Akeem Davis Gaither kind of a hybrid, and Simon, showed it just by his overall pressures and sacks last year. It's going to come down to these two guys who can show some potential in coverage. Who's going to be like, because I think otherwise they're kind of equal. Who's going to be able to be the guy that can go out there and cover and not be a complete liability there?
Give me the guy who at 6'2", 235 pounds, just had one of the more impressive seasons we've seen for an off-ball linebacker at the #1 program in college football. I don't know what Cody Simon in 10 years, what his resume with the Cardinals is going to look like, but this just tracks with what I've wanted this franchise to do for so long. It's like, hey, the best defense in college football is led by super high character kid who projects to be a starter at the next level. Can you just draft him and start him, please? Like, don't be surprised. I'm being serious for a second. Don't be surprised we open up training camp and he's running with the ones on day one. Like, oh, this is a surprise. If he performs well when they get their hands on him on beginning this week, and then they know, when they know, and they're like, okay, this kid's got it. We might have to eat it in the short term as he gets up to speed, but paying dividends when this team stunk it up in the second half of last year, can he be doing this? Whereas you feel like with Akeem Davis Gaither, it's like, okay, you could talk me into it, Frold style, Mac Wilson Sr. style. Or is this another Sean Murphy Bunting, Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols? Because we've got two ends of the spectrum here. I will always lean on the highly accoladed rookie and the unknown. Akeem Davis Gaither, you mentioned it. Less than 50% of the snaps, couldn't force his way onto a defense that was atrocious. That was a laughingstock last year.
Yeah. It's like when they say if you want to keep tabs on Cody Simon and his progress and how the team views him, they did this with like Max Melton last year. Yeah. Like in The Departed, when they say like, how do you find out if somebody's an undercover cop? They say they're not a cop. Like when you would say something like, hey, Max Melton had a pretty good game last year or last week, they'd be like, he still has a lot to work on. Like if they're saying like not so nice and becoming things about Cody Simon, they probably like him and they think he's going to be, they're like, he's got a long way to go. He needs to get better in these aspects. If they're talking about more probably the negatives and the positives, they probably love him.
Let's take a look. Can we see that graphic one more time? Because I'd be remiss if I didn't point out number 5 on this list. One, Cameron Scattaboo. I was just going to make up a middle name for him, like Cameron Josiah Scattaboo, but that would have been disingenuous. Yeah. So good to see Scat's name on a Cardinal adjacent graphic. If those times are fleeting, I'm here for it. I will milk this cow until it's drained, Bo Brock.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing that you actually don't know his true middle name.
Do you know it? Does anybody
know it? A real fan would.
Yeah, I mean a real ball knower would know it.
You know what I had to do? I had to scrub my memory of all Scattaboo highlights and joy when he wasn't a Cardinal.
I'm not going to say like
sad music. Yeah,
trying to just get him
I'm
out of
trying
your
to be.
mind.
Can I just be healthy? I'm trying to heal, right? Can you guys let me heal? It's like when you have to unfollow your ex on social and block them, and just scrub your account of all photos. That's what I'm doing with Cameron.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt you even more when he calls himself Cameron Nature Boy Scattaboo.
Oh my God.
That's
They got a good
what
one.
his Instagram says. I can't find a true middle name.
He hides it from you. Only tells his close friends. Your super chats and more coming up. It's PHNX Cardinals.
Oh man, I love it. I love it so much. I also love our friends over at Pure Edibles and over 130 dispensaries here in our great state. That's not like across the country. Like, oh, wowza, 130? Yeah, right here in AZ. So it's pretty much on every corner. You can find our friends over at Pure Edibles, who, of course, their candies, their gummies, they're not just covered in sugar like their competitors, even though they are a full-fledged candy company offering those gummies, offering the kicks. They're like Starbursts, and of course, they've got the chews like caramel and then hard candies, the Pure Effects. They're all listed right there on their 10. You can clearly read them, what effects to expect from that 10 of candies, whatever it may be. The gummies for sleep support, also candies for uplifting effects derived from unique cannabinoids such as CBN, CBG, and CBD, of course, derived from THC. Pure created up the road up in Flagstaff, but now they call Phoenix home. They're in the big leagues. Pure gummies designed to be ripped, bit in half, making them easily shareable and easy to dial in that exact dose that you're looking for. Go find yourself some Pure edible products right now. Like I said, in 130 dispensaries, you can find them anywhere you turn here in our great state. Check them out online as well. Pure Edibles.
Hit that like button for your boys. Hit that like button for our friends, our sponsor today. It's our friends at Circle K. You want to know where Studio K comes from? Comes from Circle K. The things you know. America's third stop. Join the Inner Circle for free. The membership program that you need now more than ever is those triple digits approach us here in the Valley. You're taking a trip. You want to make sure you have a full tank. They're going to hook you up. You're going to save 3 cents per gallon every time. 25 cents per gallon every single time for those first 5 fill-ups. And then, of course, they've got the exclusive deals on deals, discounts like 79 cents, Polar Pops, or Frosters. I've never needed anything more. I have a Circle K right outside of my neighborhood. I'm a frequent guest, emphasis on guest. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details. Everybody, do us a favor, drop a like. We got 404 people on this sleepy little Cards Tuesday. We were talking about it yesterday after the show, before the show. Things feel differently this year. That we could be prepared to get hurt again, but yeah. I don't know. This on paper, if they don't make the playoffs this year, this would be the best team not to make the playoffs since what, 2016? 2016, they had a loaded team, but that was when Daddy McVay entered the division. This feels like, on paper, you look at this roster, like Taylor Demerson should be a starter, may not be a starter because of how deep this team is, right? Walter Nolen should be a starter, may not be a starter immediately. The Will Johnson, we've talked about it on the offensive side. Like, this team right now is set up to have the most success, I think, in 10 plus years. As a Cardinal fan, people can sense that.
Yeah, and I think it's an unceremonious end to the rebuild. It's dead. Bury it. Talk about McVay and the Rams, and you tried to bury him several times, but this is an official, the expectations.
That's rude.
The expectations are here. Like, people believe that this team's roster is in place to contend and make the playoffs. So, the previous 2 years, even last year, okay, this is the path. This is the road. Things have to go pretty perfectly in order to do that. Kyler Murray is going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting. Unfortunately, it didn't come to fruition, but they were able to double their win total. And you came away saying, okay, the direction of this rebuild is going the right way. The arrow is pointed up. Now, what they've been able to do as far as flushing, their major weakness with, assets and players and impact makers, you can call it. As soon as they added Walter Nolen, I think that you could call the time of death of the rebuild. I mean, it's over.
I think I'm willing to go on a limb and say I think Kyler Murray could be a game manager this year and then still make the playoffs. You look at
I said that exact same thing today to somebody.
Did you really? Wow.
Yeah. Really weird.
It's strange. And I don't think he's going to be Alex Smith or remember the year the Giants made the playoffs with Daniel Jones? And I mean, you get game managers every year, but I think Kyler Murray could be a game manager and then make the playoffs. But I don't think he will be. I think like when we had a chance to visit with K1 this offseason, you could tell how motivated he is, and the full complement of receivers, the best tight end we think in the NFL, a plus offensive line. Like, he doesn't have to be he shouldn't be a game manager. But if they have to win games, and this is what they could not do last year, save for the Charger game. If they have to win games, low scoring, 17-14, 14-10, they have the ability to do that. And here's what I will say for Kyler Murray in his defense. Last year, the LA Rams, there were some special performances from Matthew Stafford. But for the most part, that defense was their calling card last year. They were giving up 15 points, 20 points, 15 points. I mean, like, Stafford would have his special performances, and he certainly earned it. And he looked good in the playoffs, but we saw it the second to last week of the season. Stafford was average to below average, and his defense won him games. Kyler Murray is, I think we can both agree, will never have a defense that he's going to have this year, based off the coordinator, the head coach, and the personnel. And if I'm Kyler Murray, hopefully that gives me full confidence just to go out there and sling it.
Using the kind of the Stafford comp a little bit, but Kyler Murray's going to have the opportunity that Stafford didn't. He had to leave Detroit in order to find success because Detroit just it was incapable at the time of building around it. I know they had like a cup of coffee in the playoffs, but as far as sustained success, consistent success, and a well-built roster, like Stafford just never had it. It was like him and Megatron and a couple of guys sprinkled here and there. Kyler Murray is going to benefit from this. And like I just heard today, Matthew Stafford, I think, is second in career earnings in the NFL. He's made over $300+ million. He's only behind Aaron Rodgers. And there was a point, I think, in Matthew Stafford's career where you would have said, no way that's ever going to happen. I think Kyler Murray is going to reach a crossroads where he got that initial deal. And is he going to be able to parlay it into like Matthew Stafford, where he went to a team, or he was on a team with expectations, and he was going to be able to be that quarterback to take him there, because that's where the real like quarterback money can be made. And we'll see. I mean, it's going to come down to it. But I think, to your point, to start all this, at the very least, being a game manager would be enough for this roster to go where it wants to go. And then if he can do all those superhuman things that he can do and sprinkle it in, that's where it goes into a different gear.
And we've talked about it. Like, I think if you can separate, if you can compartmentalize, and this isn't a shot on Kyler Murray, because I think he had some early years robbed from him. But if you can compartmentalize, like, hey, Kyler Murray, number one pick, franchise saver, to Kyler Murray, good quarterback, winning quarterback that can get you to the playoffs, I think you'll just be much more like settled in yourself as a fan of this team. Because it, like, again, I'm not saying people can't feel how they feel, but there are people out there that are like, he's been a big disappointment and I'm upset and it's never going to be, what it should have been as the first overall pick. How about, if we're living in the now, the people who drafted Kyler Murray are gone. They were fired, right? And I don't know if he's had his ups and downs with Michael Bidwell, but clearly that relationship has had to be maybe rebuilt over time or improved. He has a new lease on life with his head coach and general manager. And that's how I'm judging him now. At face value, since Gannon and Ossenfort took over, he's a quarterback with more touchdowns than interceptions, doesn't turn the ball over all that often. And right now, they feel very confident that he can be a playoff quarterback for them. And that's how I'm judging. I'm not saying Kyler Murray, top 10 in baseball, NFL, come here and be Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Like, I think you have to walk before you can run with a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, like, and I get it to an extent when people go, come on, John, it's year 7,
Right. Yeah.
Crapper, get off the pot. But you also have to understand the context of all this. Right? Facts and circumstances that went into his first couple of seasons and how he was handicapped by, the roster that he was on, and like, not completely, he wasn't without fault. I think it was a lot of the growing pains that comes with taking on a position that he did as a franchise quarterback, the expectations, and also the lack of tools that he was given from his organizations to mature correctly. But now he's reached that point with a healthy organization that has his best interest in mind. And that's why it doesn't feel like, well, it's been 6 seasons. He is who he is, and he's not, because you understand that he hasn't hit that ceiling yet, especially from a consistency standpoint. Like Jonathan Gannon told us, what a hell of a year looks like to Jonathan Gannon is operating at a high level consistently. And that's what they're going to look for from Kyler Murray. And if he doesn't get there, then you look at it as like, hey, it's been 7 years. This has been 3 years in this system.
The roster is ready to win.
Yeah,
you have to win with this roster. Whomever's behind center, there's the expectation of this is a playoff roster. The expectation is you'll stick around for overtime here, PHNX Cardinals, for your super chats here.
The other videos, peek back behind the curtain because we use a different platform on this one. The other ones actually do have an air horn in the background. Yeah, it's pretty special.
Well, I mean,
you supplement it well enough, though, Bo.
It's basically the same thing. I only think people noticed that it was us making those noises with our mouth, Damon. So you just kind of.
Johnny calls overtime, and then I'm just kind of I'm making the sound effects.
He's doing his best Jim Henson from the Muppets, where you can't see his mouth moving. He's doing a tremendous job. Okay, now it's ruined.
That's just a sad truck. Yeah.
199 just became a diehard. Let's go. Ready to roll. Gentlemen, thank you, Nathaniel Thomas. We appreciate you, my brother. Welcome to the diehard community here. And again, jump in that Discord. Get your free piece of merch. We can't wait to see you this fall. Hopefully some diehard events. But we appreciate you, Nathaniel, nonetheless. We appreciate all of our diehards, all of our viewers. But you become a diehard. It's a special community that we're growing here that we don't have any intent on stopping, Bo.
Let's do a diehard chat tomorrow. I'm going to do it. If Johnny's free, he'll join me. But let's do a diehard chat tomorrow, pre-show. We'll hang out. We'll just do kind of a town hall.
I'm there
to welcome Nathaniel.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get Nathaniel, our other guy in here as well. Is it ZT?
ZT. Yep.
Yeah. Our new diehards. Welcome them as best as we can, and we'll talk some draft. We'll talk, the rest of the offseason. Just chop it up.
I'll recap tonight's 3 episodes of Andor. I'm sure Bo will think that's appropriate.
Derek declared it on our PHNX D-back show we did on Sunday, Johnny, at Gila River. Bo is the biggest Star Wars fan we have at this company.
Huge.
Here's the thing about myself is I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but I understand how it makes my guys feel. Like, you didn't reach out to me on May 4th and say Happy Star Wars Day. I reached out to you two and I said Happy Star Wars Day because I knew it lights you guys up a certain way.
You're such a sweet man.
It gets the juices going for the fellas. Oh man. What is that?
He's an action figure in hands distance.
It's not.
Full disclosure too.
This is my church, darn it.
Johnny tries to what is it, indoctrinize my son. He got him his only Star Wars toy. He got him Darth Vader. And little does he know that I feed him misinformation about the Star Wars franchise as we're playing.
It's like Dwight in with Battlestar Galactica in The Office with Jim's trying to talk to Andy. He's like, "Oh, is that any good? I haven't heard about that." Listen, I can't, in good conscience, allow you to try to educate your son on the inner workings of the greatest trilogy of all time. So. We'll have to intervene here, but
that's what Uncle John's for, though. That's what he's here for.
That's right. He needs to know.
I'll be like, when Darth Vader and Anakin both met, and then you also brought in Kylo. It was a throwdown.
We don't acknowledge the sequels.
You got Anakin's brother, Luke, of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You don't want to forget about that. And when Vader flies too, he can't use his lightsaber.
The only thing that would make this better is if you did the nerd voice, Bo's nerd voice. No, listen, we all have our vices, we all have our religions. I go to the Church of the Football Gods with the Arizona Cardinals, and I dabble in Star Wars lore and mythology. Robert, $2. So we lose viewers at a rapid pace. The Cards will be a top 10 defense and offense. What do you think there's a better shot? Top 10 defense or offense? What do you think is the better shot?
Man, they were right there. I mean, statistically, I think they were like the 13th or 14th offense, so they don't have as far to go. But you look at the additions on defense,
it's
how
tough
they just
too. It's like I don't
flooded.
care about total offense. I care about points per game.
Yeah,
like total offense to me, you can put up a lot of yards and it can be faux yards. Like how many points are you scoring? But I think they have a much better chance to be a top 10 defense. That's how I feel.
I look around at the schedule that they're playing. Yeah, making chewy sound. And there aren't a lot of great offenses that they're going to face, and that could play to their advantage as well.
I think they will have a firm top 10 defense. I think they'll be a fringe top 10 offense, but I still think we're going to get some of those games though. We're going to be like, man, the offense was not good today, but they won.
Yeah.
I think you'll get some grace there. Unless Kyler, if it's 2021 and he's having a ball and we're having a ball.
If they score 25, 26 points per game, that's a top 10 offense.
I know that's a big jump though. Bees, $2. Can we get an Adam Hogue and our guy Carm draft talk crossover? But I'm sure we could arrange something like that with our CHGO brethren. We try to be kind to them, regardless.
We could play them a fun little clip.
Oh no, they like that.
Don't do that. They have to do what we've done for a long time, and that's talk yourself into David Collins and Isaiah Simmons and Hollywood Brown. They've got to do their own rendition. That's their journey. We respect it. Thankfully, we are on a different path, that of competent GMing in Arizona. We know what their path leads to. It leads to more hurt.
As long as they're under Ryan Poles, that's going to continue. It's going to that pain is going to continue. We know it all too well. Like they have a roster in place that if they brought in a competent GM to work hand in hand with Ben Johnson, they'd be in really good shape.
Ben Johnson will get Ryan Poles fired if they don't make the playoffs. Ben Johnson he'll be taking control. Josh, $5. Many media outlets graded us lower due to the lack of offensive additions. I think it's the make or break for Petsy Murray. What are your thoughts? Well, I agree. I think it's hard to say playoff or bust. Like there was another outlet here locally after the draft. It's like playoff or bust. I'm like, you're telling me if they win 10 games next year and they don't make the playoffs, people are going to be like, blow it up. I think they have to have a winning record, which they were a game away from doing last year. And then a lot of it is going to be on optics. How does it look? If Kyler Murray is a little bit better, but they win 11 games because their defense is great, guess what? They're not bailing on Kyler Murray. Like, I think they're hoping for marginal improvements offensively based on continuity and a big leap. Their pass rush was ass. It was one of the worst in the NFL. They could not win with 4. If that becomes a strength now, look out.
Dana R. Ball Knower, $2. Show me Thumb Wars as the original version. Have you ever seen Thumb Wars?
I think when I was seen a little bit of it. When I was growing up in my local video store, they used to have Thumb Wars on display, like a VHS tape of it. I never I never rented it.
Really? You thought it was just disrespectful?
Yeah, I just, why waste my time with that? I appreciate the super chat though, Dana. No, I'm sure I've watched it on YouTube.
He'll joke around talking ball all day, but if you come for Star Wars in any capacity, he's
not funny.
No, it's not.
This is serious, Dana. This is serious. We take this stuff seriously, as Derek Anderson once said. We take the original trilogy in all its glory very serious. We don't want to see George Lucas mingle with CGI replacements. We want the original cut from 1977. Richard, $4.99. Bro, you're making me sad. Darth Vader was the biggest, baddest villain of all time. He was.
Not even close.
Isn't it crazy? Bo won't be able to appreciate this. But Star Wars hasn't released a film since 2019. And they made a series about Darth Vader on Disney+. That was the parts that were good were really good. And then there were some really bad parts. It's like they didn't think, just make a Darth Vader movie and you could make $1 billion. But they're just not very smart right now, Lucasfilm. Just make a Darth Vader movie and release it, I don't know, within the last 7 years, and I bet it would do pretty well. And they couldn't do that. Stupid.
Man, that is...
I just got to say real quick that, and we'll move on, Bo.
Yeah,
but
please.
if they did release a Darth Vader movie, Johnny would be leading the line of being like, "How could you do this to Darth Vader?" He'd find something to be upset about.
As long as they're
100%.
not disrespectful to the mythology and the lore, as long as they respect the character, which sometimes you have to question: does this current regime respect the character? I don't know. I don't know about that.
So
Pour one out for James Earl Jones.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you couldn't even make the movie now. You want AI Vader?
Do I even need to get into that? So he's already released the right that the AI can do it. So they've signed that away. But yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Man.
There it is. Yep. What was going? Couches, eyes out.
This is what May shows are for. So we can talk about this, the important stuff that will not get any airtime this fall.
We got to find our next version of the 999. Maybe we do like a live watch along with the Star Wars movies.
It's better than what you sent me. What was that? Yesterday or today? Bo sent Damon and I an Instagram reel.
Yeah.
24-24-24 challenge, which apparently he thinks that Damon and I don't know if Damon could even attempt it. It's 24 beers, 24 burgers, and 24 miles either walked or run.
Hiked. Yeah.
Hiked in 24 hours. Bo's like, how about this? How about this, guys?
It's just a joke. Because you struggled your entire way through the 999 challenge. So I don't think joking.
It's struggling if I completed it. I think it's you completed it. It's like when guys complete marathons or Ironmans. Or hey, I completed an Ironman. Hey, I completed the 999 challenge. Bees, I told Bo it would kill me. I would probably get 24 hamburgers or cheeseburgers.
Well, the guy didn't even get the cheeseburgers. No, they were actually McDonald's, just regular cheeseburgers.
Would that be the toughest part for you think?
I mean, 24 beers would be pretty crazy.
I think the
24 miles hiked too. I mean, all of them are super challenging.
24 miles would, I think, be the easiest for us. Because anybody can just start walking. Take a break, sit down, get up, start walking again.
I've done 24 miles. It's not as easy as you're making it.
That sounds brutal.
Yeah, it's bad.
Especially there's elevation.
Yep.
Putting 24 anything in your body is, I guess you have to combine.
Stop talking about this before it becomes like alluring to either.
It's not alluring. Do you guys want a podcast this fall? Then otherwise I'd be dead. So it's like, do you want the show or do you want us to do this? Actually, I don't answer that.
Got a couple more super chats here at the buzzer. Josh Espada, force Bo to learn Warhammer 40K lore. No idea what that is.
Damon, what's that?
I'm struggling too over here.
Wow.
Is it a video game?
40K.
Yeah.
Is that like 401k? Whoops.
Keep it going.
It is a video game.
Okay. Trevor Begay, they're coming out with a Mando and Grogu movie next year.
Trevor, I've seen that. There better be some legacy characters in that movie because I think right now, on the surface, just not. I'm not overly impressed with what I've heard the synopsis is. I've sent some still images to Damon and Bo where it's Jeremy Allen White from The Bear is playing Jabba the Hutt's son, who supposedly has a six-pack in the film. There's some questionable decisions being made. Maybe try to get Boba Fett right before we start doing Jabba's son in the Mando movie. I don't know. Hey, here we go, Ryan. Hey, Mando.
There you go. Oh man.
Mando
these little like Patton Oswalt from Parks and Rec rants that you go on, man, they astound me. That you can talk so much about this subject and it like not a single thing either registers or piques my interest. It's all boring.
It's like me and you with NASCAR. You could talk about NASCAR all day.
It's the exact same thing.
It is. It's what Star Wars is to me. Bo loves NASCAR. Loves the track.
Peeling
Amadeus. $199. I need an R-rated Darth Vader movie. Like I need air. Like I need air to breathe. They would never do it.
I'm with you there. That would be electric.
They can't do a movie-based villain. I'll tell you what we also need. We also need a young Palpatine movie with Darth Plagueis. We need all that. They don't know how to do it. They got to turn everybody good. How about just rich storytelling, Disney? How about that? Pick up a novel, pre-Lucasfilm acquisition with Disney. Pick up a novel from the 90s or the early 2000s and adapt one of those, please.
You just mute his mic next time. Did you say Darth Plagueis?
So
no, I don't need an explanation. It's just a yes or no. Is that an actual character? It's not even
in episode 3,
no.
Robert,
$2.
So Darth Plagueis was born on the planet of.
Welcome,
he was the Emperor Palpatine's mentor, who Palpatine killed in his sleep.
Don't rain on Robert's parade here. He just became a new member. He's a diehard
member because of where this segment has gone.
I don't think so. Don't no take backsies, Robert. After this discussion, you're locked in for the next year, and we're excited to have you. I am Kyler Plummer. I am dying inside.
Senior Poop gets it. Let me tell you the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. It's one of the best scenes in the prequels.
Phenomenal.
It's chef's kiss. Damon's a child of the prequels. He will defend it. Cutthroat. Man, this is a special day. This show.
Keep it going for Chubb. Steve Keim movie. The Busmaster.
One day this summer, we got to go through, like, in the dead of summer, the top 5 or maybe the top 10 Steve Keim busts. When you joined this company, you ranked all of Steve Keim's draft picks at gophnx.com. It was a horror show of a list.
Super sad. We'll have to maybe revive that. We'll get into it. And I think we need to also give, as you mentioned, Monti Ossenfort 28 picks now. Start to get into his best work.
Ooh, that sounds great. Mac Daddy 714-499. Johnny needs to do a weekly film discussion in the Discord. Laugh out loud. God. Thunderbolts was great. Thunderbolts was great. Mac Daddy. I took my son last week. Disappointed it's not doing better at the box office. I think Marvel's they've had so many misses lately that when they finally get a good project out there, people just don't care. It's tough. We don't miss on this show. That's the thing. But yeah. Bo will see. Go ahead.
I'll go see that.
Bo said he would go with me and my son to Fantastic Four this summer. So we're going to do that together. Damon, you're welcome to join us.
Sounds like a wonderful time.
We went to Deadpool Wolverine as a gang.
That was fun. That was electric.
You going to take this from Dana?
NASCAR is gross. At least F1 rally race, the real roads, they don't need their special circular playpen slanted walls. They hit 200 miles per hour. Look,
coming for the sport you love.
I explained why I like so many things on as far as motorsports on Instagram. I don't have like a true love for the sport. I'm just being supportive, being a good friend.
You're the best friend this podcast has ever had. In all seriousness, thanks for hanging out.
If he did like a little side project where he's talking about Darth Vader and stuff, I'll hit that with a like every time, even though I won't consume it. I won't watch it.
You'll probably drop a comment like sending hate from Uptown Phoenix or something like that.
Hate from Phoenix.
I'll just have like a stock like Star Wars. Hell yeah.
Great guy. Or like, glad you guys are having fun. Glad you found your niche. You guys make it fun to do this podcast every single day. Drop us a like here on a somewhat football Tuesday. We've got rookie minicamp around the corner. Big thanks to our newest diehards. We're going to do a diehard Q&A tomorrow, so jump in for that. We've got a banner week of shows remaining with rookie minicamp. Can't wait to hear from Will Johnson. A super chat under the gun here. Amadeus $4.99. Bo, have you ever heard the tragedy of Steve Keim the Wise? How about Steve Keim, maybe the not so wise in the NFL draft?
Good one. Right before the buzzer there.
Steve Keim once drafted during the pandemic on a laptop on top of some Tupperware. And they were like, let's show Steve Keim's house. And it was Steve on a laptop, and he had like Tupperware underneath his laptop, I guess, to get it to eye level. It's like, Steve, you don't have a desk?
His superpower was bad draft picks. That was his superpower. In a
It's hard
pinch,
to beat
he
that
could
bad.
find you the worst prospect to take in any round. That was what his specialty was.
Steve, find us the player that has the biggest chance to bust. And he's like, you guys got it. I'm on it. Simmons.
Love it from everybody. Thank you for watching. Of course, like this video. Subscribe to PHNX Sports. We're at 40K. Let's get to 41K as soon as possible because the road to 100K, it's only begun. Leave a like and follow us, of course, on Twitter, Instagram, PHNX_Cardinals for more Star Wars nerding out. At Johnny Venerable, at Damon Dawg, and follow me at Brack. Of course, we got Cardinal stuff coming up this week. You want to use that for useful things. Check us out then, and also check us out live tomorrow, 4:30 here at PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.